This is a special presentation of Wave 31 Sports.
It's the McCurry Big Game Friday night. Hello, Alabama, find a comfortable spot. We got high school football and it's coming out hot. Now here we are and the lights are shining bright. We've always been. Yeah, Wave 31 is rocking all right.
With Nolan, Max, and Xavier.
It's the McCurry Van and Car Rental Big Game Friday night.
The postseason is here. Tonight marked the start of the quest for a blue map for teams across the state, just like the Hartselle Tigers, who hosted Centerpoint in our Big Game Friday night Game of the Week.
28 North Alabama schools hit the field tonight as the first round of the playoffs kicked off. It's win or go home.
Hello and welcome into Big Game Friday Night Playoff Edition. I'm Nolan Knight here with Max Cohan. Thanks for making Wave 31 your home for high school football. The playoffs are here, and that means that every matchup this week is a good one.
And I don't think there was a better matchup tonight than the one at our Big Game Friday Night Game of the Week between Centerpoint and Hartselle. So let's kick off our coverage tonight in Morgan County, where Xavier Wary has the recap.
Well, high school football in early November only means one thing. It is playoff time, win or go home, survive and advance. And tonight, it was the Hartselle Tigers hosting the Centerpoint Eagles out of Birmingham. Let's see how our Big Game Friday Night Playoff Game of the Week played out. To J.P. Cain Stadium we go for tonight's playoff action. The Tigers ready to take the field and play their way into the second round. In the first quarter action, it's the Eagles with the ball, and Cross Point came ready to light up the scoreboard. At least on the first drive, this is Thurman Moore connecting with Makai Brown on this big-time pitch and catch, and Brown would cruise into the end zone for the first points of the ball game. Eagles do fail on the two-point conversion of 6-0. Here come the Tigers. Noah Lee takes the snap, drops back to pass, and connects with Jace Meadows on this fourth down conversion, and later on the drive in the red zone. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Lee and Meadows connect again to get closer in scoring range. However, Hartselle would only get 3 points out of this possession. Later in the half, Moore looking for a receiver downfield, and instead it's Jacaleb Goodwin with the big-time interception, giving Hartselle some much-needed momentum and pretty good field position on this interception. And the Tigers would get points off of the turnover. Lincoln Bryan follows his big blockers and finds his way across the goal line for 6. Tigers up 10-6. But right before the end of the half, Moore says, "Let me stick with what I know best." He finds his go-to weapon, Brown, for this 65-yard score, and Cross Point will go up in the half 12-10 over the Tigers, but it would not matter. Hartselle advances to the second round with a 28-18 victory. And I'm with Hartselle's head man, Brian Moore, after the 28-18 victory. Coach, it seems that you all maybe got off to a slow start offensively. Kind of talk about what was going on there and what kind of turned things around.
Well, I mean, we needed a spark. I mean, we didn't play well early, so we had some package and stuff, running a bunch of kids on and off and playing multiple quarterbacks because of our injuries and stuff. Anyway, but, you know, it took us a little while to settle in. I thought our plan was good. We just, you know, again, we got a little bit mixed up with some stuff, hurt ourselves, but huge play defensively on the pick six, man. Made the difference in the ballgame.
Coach, we're not even 10 minutes past the victory, but I got to ask you, Gadsden City next week, kind of what stands out about them?
Super athletic. And then going on the road, 2-hour road trip now to Gadsden. They came here, you know, week 5, and we had to win a tight one with them. They're a really good football team. Ollie Smith and I, their head coach, are friends, and he does a heck of a job there. They got the Kirkpatrick kid that's going to Alabama. He's a baller. And but everybody in 6A, man, from this point forward, they got dudes. And so we have to rise up and play better.
Got your hands full, Coach. Good luck to you moving forward. And again, Hartselle, they win this one 28-18. As I just mentioned to Coach Moore, they advance and they play Gadsden City next week. I'm reporting in Hartselle. Xavier Wary, Wave 31 Sports.
All right, so there you have it. Hartselle is headed to the next round with a big win over Centerpoint.
All right, well, let's get back to the action, staying in 6A Region 7 with the Muscle Shoals Trojans. Scott Baisden's squad charges into the playoffs, coming off a perfect regular season, and they draw a Pinson Valley team that just snuck in. And right there, Jordan Cole blocks the Indians' putt, and it's recovered by Braylon Jones. On the following play, Muscle Shoals' Nat Hampton breaks a couple of tackles, shows off the stiff arm and speed as he goes 65 yards for the touchdown. A little bit later, Cole Woods leads Marcus Goodlow into the end zone for a 40-yard touchdown. But if you thought that they were done, think again. On the following series, Woods slings it to Goodlow for another score, and the Trojans would run away with this one, 42-7, setting up a meeting with Fort Payne in the second round.
A lot of talented teams in Class 6A. The Athens Golden Eagles, one of those teams that were on the road at Oxford tonight, hoping to pull off an upset, but the Yellow Jackets are the ones that are headed to the next round, taking down the Golden Eagles tonight 45-27. Fort Payne, the only other 6A North Alabama team in action tonight. They were taking on Mortimer Jordan. As Max just mentioned, they get a big win tonight at home, 45-28.
The Austin Black Bears have made the playoffs the norm in Decatur, but they haven't won a postseason game since 2017. Tonight they draw a meeting with Vestavia Hills, a team they're 0-5 against, and the Rebels don't waste a second trying to make it 6 straight wins. Handoff to Will Tonsmere Jr., and he is a gunner, 68 yards to the house on the first possession of the game. But the Black Bears weren't going to let the Rebels come make a statement in their house. Ken Joshua hauls in Judd Bailey's pass and shimmies and shakes his way to get past the sticks to get Austin a fresh set of downs. But then the Black Bears switch things up, going to Gavin Fuqua again and again on the direct snap, and you can see why as he gets things moving for another big pickup. They put it back in his hands to cap off the drive, but then they opt to change it again, throwing it. Nick Creighton hauls in the touchdown, and this game is tied, but the Rebels would run away with it 38-17, keeping the Bears searching for that first 7A win. In Class 7A Region 4, Bob Jones is back in the playoffs this season, drawing a meeting with Hewitt-Trussville as the Patriots search for their first playoff win in 10 years. But in the end, it was the Huskies with the win 56-14, while last night the Florence Falcons were down by the Warriors of Thompson 42-0. The last time the James Clemens Jets won a playoff game was 2019, and their head coach that year was Wade Waldrop.
Yeah, and tonight the 7A Region 4 champs and James Clemens were hoping to pick up their first playoff win under head coach Chad McGee as they squared off against Wade Waldrop's new squad, the Hoover Bucks. Historically, Hoover has had the upper hand, winning their only 2 meetings against the Jets, but James Clemens showed up ready to play. Ty Dowdy takes the direct snap, cuts across the grain. Look out, this kid's got some wheels. He finds the end zone. The Jets with a 7-0 lead early in the first quarter, but following a fumble on their own goal line, Hoover would answer. Hand off to Bradley Shaw. He's not going to be denied, diving into the end zone to tie things up at 7. This James Clemens defense, though, would make a big stand. Jalen Ruffin coming in and getting the sack to force this next play. Hoover punting from their own end zone, and it's going to be blocked. It rolls out for a safety. James Clemens take a 9-7 lead, but they can't keep it. They fall to the Buccaneers, who shut out the Jets in the second half, winning this one 42-16. All right, guys, well, it's already time for us to go ahead and call our first timeout of the show.
But don't go anywhere, because coming up next on Big Game Friday night, our playoff coverage continues as we turn our attention to Class 5A. Gunnersville and Scottsboro both at home tonight.
Stay tuned for more Big Game Friday nights. You're watching Big Game Friday nights. Go Austin! It's the McCurry Van and Car Rental Big Game Friday night.
Welcome back into Big Game Friday night, everyone. The first week of playoff action is here.
Yeah, tonight we had a battle of some old school teams in 5A as the Springville Tigers and Gunnersville Wildcats met for the first time ever. A great crowd, as always, at Gunnersville tonight, as the Wildcats were hoping to advance to the second round for the second year in a row, and they would waste little time getting on the board. Avery Clifton takes the handoff, gallops into the end zone for the early lead, and the defense all showed up to play tonight. Jacob Connor back to pass, airs one out, but it's going to be picked off. Cam Gentle headed the other way, and that must have fired up the Gunnersville offense, because a few plays later, they would find Pater. Julian Jordan takes the handoff, runs through a tackle at the line of scrimmage, and look out, he hits the turbo button. He's headed for the end zone. Touchdown Gunnersville. They look good in the first half, and they move on to win, dominating in the second half, making a 31-7 victory.
Speaking of new meetings, how about Scottsboro and Moody? The Wildcats hoping to win playoff games in back-to-back seasons for the first time in nearly 20 years. And Chris Bell's squad has been clicking on offense, averaging 41 points per game, but not off to the start you want to see as they have to kick. The kicker falls, but the ball goes over the crossbar, so tack on 3. But the Blue Devils came to play. Charles Johnston with time to scan the field, and he sends it over the middle to Blaine Burke. And this guy has clearly been playing Madden, breaking out the jukes not once, not twice, but thrice on his way into the end zone. and Moody wouldn't stop there. Handoff to Gavin Baker, and he'll cook the Cats defenders as he breaks free, putting Scottsboro in a bad spot with this score. The Devils would end the Wildcats season as Moody takes it 28-10.
Yeah, looking at some other scores from Class 5A, Russellville hosted Fairfield tonight and used home field advantage, winning 38-21, while at Leeds, the Arab Knights were hoping to pull off an upset, but in the end, it is Leeds that wins it at home 33-7. In Class 4A, the Westminster Christian Wildcats were hoping to secure their first playoff win since 2019. Tonight, they hosted Oak Grove. The Wildcats this season have had one of the best offenses in the state, and that offense kept on rolling into the postseason. We'll pick up in the first quarter. Westminster was moving the ball. TJ Carter on the receiving end of this one to move the sticks for the Wildcats, and then Brandon Mush would get to work, takes the direct snap, finds the corner, look out, he picks up a big chunk to set up this next play. Brandon Mush looking to pass, he's going to fire for receiver Kyle Everleth, the big tight end, hauls it in for the score. Touchdown Wildcats. Westminster, they're headed to the second round, making a 35-13 win over Oak Grove. And shout out to Brandon Mush. He is now the second all-time all-purpose yards leader in AHSAA history.
In 4A action, the Randolph Raiders have a chance to secure a playoff win for the third straight season for the first time in team history as they squared off with Corner. And the Raiders have their hands full with this one-loss Yellow Jacket squad. Just before halftime, the Raiders looking to tie things up. William Mitchell looking to throw, rolling right, avoiding the pressure, and he fires for the end zone and finds the big tight end, Hunter Wiggins. And just like that, we got a tie game on Garth Road. Now he's fast forward to the final play before halftime. Brendan Connor back to pass, and he lets one fly. And how about the defense from J.J. Chung? He breaks it up. A big stand for the Raiders. In the second half, it's Corner that shuts out the Raiders as they take this one on the road, 42-21. Staying in 4A action, the Priceville Bulldogs made it to November with a 4-6 record, drawing a meeting with the Region 5 champs from Dora, and they will move on to play another week, defeating Dora 18-14, while the Brooks Lions clawed their way past the Redskins, winning 56-42.
Now, a lot of really good 4A teams wrapping up those 4A playoffs. North Jackson, they were on the road at Haleyville. They can't quite pull out a win as Haleyville ends the Chiefs season with a 33-14 win. All right, let's go ahead and call that second timeout of our show.
But don't click away, because coming up next on Big Game Friday Night, we tune in with some of our undefeated teams as we focus on Class 3A and 2A in the playoffs.
Stay tuned for more Big Game Friday Night. Big Game Friday Night.
This is the Hartselle High Drum Line, and you're watching Big Game Friday Night on Way 31.
All right, listen to that rhythm. A big congratulations to the Hartselle High School Marching Band on winning this week's Spirit Award. At 88 members strong, they always bring a great atmosphere to J.P. Cain Stadium. And good luck tomorrow at the Hartselle Veterans Day Parade.
All right, well, how about we get back to some football now? We'll turn our attention to Class 3A as the undefeated Madison Academy Mustangs were at home tonight hosting Oaks Bluff. The Mustangs have not lost many first-round games since Bob Godsey has taken over, and they were rolling into the first half, already up 30-7 when Kent Cherry gets going, breaks one, not two, but three tackles on the way to a first down, and they would keep feeding the big back. Cherry again picks up another first down for Madison Academy, setting the Mustangs up just outside the 10, and that would lead to maybe the catch of the season. Watch this right here, folks. Jacob Poldiak back to pass, evades pressure, lets one rip for Jackson Reese. The senior holds it in with one hand. Are you kidding me? 37-7 ball game. The Madison Academy Mustangs, they roll to a first round win over Oaks Bluff, 57-20.
Speaking of undefeated teams in Class 3A, the Lauderdale County Tigers tonight were at home hosting Fayette County, hoping to advance to the second round of the postseason for the third straight year. We start with the Tigers up 14-7. That's when Fayette County's Carter Sanford connects with Kaihi Montford for a big first down. That momentum would die right here. A pass by Sanford is going to land right in Lauderdale County's Chase Blue's hands, who is off to the races, and he's not looking back as he takes it all the way from about his own 20 right into the end zone for a touchdown. And they'd also convert on the two-pointer to go up 22-7. Talk about a big play. don't count out Fayette County just yet. Dylan Schlorber pushes one past Lauderdale County's defense, and he easily gets to midfield. That would convert to another handoff, and Schlorber takes it again, this time finding his way into the end zone to make it an 8-point game. But in the end, Lauderdale County wins it 35-14. The Tigers just one of many talented teams in Class 3A this year.
Yeah, that's right. Another team that thinks they could make a run this postseason is Geraldine. 9-1 on the year, and tonight we're hosting Susan Moore for a first-round showdown. The Bulldogs look like the team that might make that run. Geraldine hosting Susan Moore. Let's check out those videos. We don't have the video for this game, but Geraldine had a massive game in this game. You know, they're 9-1 on the season, and they looked just as good tonight. Went up 36-0 in the game. They would end up taking down Susan Moore tonight 56-14. Let's look at some of the other scores from around the area. Sylvania were at home tonight hosting Vinemont and run away with this one 41-0, while at Pisgah they're also headed to the second round in Class 2A, taking down Pleasant Valley tonight 44-20.
In Class 2A, the defending state champion Fife Red Devils were back at home to host a playoff game for the 14th straight season. Scoreless in the first, the Red Devils are trying to change that. Fife opting to ditch the run and air it out, but Blake Dobbins can't find a receiver and decides to take it himself. Not a ton to be had here, but Dobbins had time in the pocket, so they give him another shot and he makes it count, connecting with Ryder Gibson, and he's wide open and in for the score, just one of many in the Red Raiders' 48-point shutout, setting up a meeting with Lexington next week. At Lexington High School tonight, the Golden Bears were hosting a playoff game for the third season in a row as Aliceville came to town.
Yeah, so let's head out to Lexington, where the Bears were hoping to get something going against a talented team. Anthony Wilder looking to get things going. He's going to throw to his right. It's into the hands of the Golden Bears. Braden Allen says, "See you later." He takes it back for the 70-yard pick six to extend the Lexington lead to 16-0. The Yellow Jackets, though, they refuse to stay in their hive. Wilder shows off his legs. This time, the big quarterback reading the defense, going to pick up a big first down to put his squad closer to picking up their first points, and they do. Wilder hands it off to Javion Mosley, breaks through the Lexington defense and plants himself into the end zone. But it's the Golden Bears who get the last laugh. They take down Aliceville at home tonight, 54-28. And finally, wrapping up the Class 2A playoffs, Red Bay. They were in action on the road at Tuscaloosa Academy, but it is the Knights that take down the Tigers 35-16. All right, guys, let's go ahead and call our third and final timeout of the show.
Coming up next, we head to Decatur Heritage to check out the Class 1A playoffs.
Stay tuned for more Big Game Friday night. Go Tigers! You're watching Big Game Friday night. Go Eagles! It's the McCurry Van and Car Rental Big Game Friday night.
All right, welcome back into Big Game Friday night, everyone. What a night it was for high school football. Some awesome matchups all throughout this state. But before we go, how about we tune into Class 1A?
Yeah, Decatur Heritage was at West Morgan tonight, hosting Winterboro in a big first-round showdown. And after years under Steve Meek, it's Heritage searching for their first playoff win under Nikita Stover. But the Eagles trail by 8, and it's about to become 14 as Brandon Hunter takes the snap directly into the end zone. And things would only get worse before they got better for the Eagles. After a stalled drive, the Bulldogs found the end zone again. Deontay Smoot scoots his way to the outside, and then number 20 gives Winterboro a 20-point lead as he trots into the end zone. The Eagles would finally find the scoreboard late in the second as Severius Evans goes untouched on his way across the goal line, making it a 20-7 game. Now, the Eagles scored 24 unanswered to take the lead in the third, but they fell short in the fourth, letting the Bulldogs take home the win, 42-37.
Oh, man, what tough loss there for DHCA. All right, and before we sign off for the night, we would like to just take this time to thank our radio sponsors for making tonight's show possible. We could not do it without them. And, of course, a massive thank you to everyone that helps makes this show possible, from production to our EP, Sarah Jones, to our shooters on the sideline. This would not be possible without them. And, of course, a massive thank you to everyone that tunes in each and every week for making Way 31 your home for high school football.
You know, I think people really like when we get to the end of the show because we get
best
to show
part of the show.
The best part, in my opinion, is the best part of the show.
In everyone's opinion, it's the best part of the show.
When you get to see all the best plays at once, isn't that great? So let's wrap things up the same way we do every week with our big game Friday night top lights.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.
been watching a special presentation of Wave 31 Sports.